morning.
Good morning, everybody.
Hello, hello.
We are all here. We are in our clubhouse room of Chakra Balancing for the Curious, as well as on our Zoom, going to be reposted in our groups. Today, we get to do a little bit deeper dive and follow our curiosity about chakras into what's called the Sacral Chakra. And we're going to say that 5 times fast. Now I'm just kidding. I have on here with me, facilitating this conversation, I have Sofia Alvarez coming in from Colombia, Meg Paz coming in from New Jersey, and I'm Janis Neary Miller coming in from Utah. And we're going to quickly go into the Sacral Chakra. But before we do, Sofia, can you quickly give us a quick little recap on chakras, what they are in case anyone missed our previous calls, and then we can get into it.
Yes, of course. Thank you, beautiful Janis. Okay, as always, it is amazing to be here sharing a little bit about chakras. So let's remember that our chakras are wheels, and they are actually our energetic wheels. So when we talk about chakras, we just connect ourselves to 7 principal points of energy that are called our wheels of energy, and those are our chakras. So we've talked about an acronym that I love to share that is about RAST, R-A-S-T. As it's not a word that it exists, we can just connect ourselves with rest. And that thing that we sometimes want to do, but we just don't do it. Our body just asks for it. And it's really to connect with the intention of our chakras. So when we have rest, the R is reception, the A is assimilation, the S is storage, and the T is transmission. So what chakras are these wheel-like centers for the reception, assimilation, storage, transmission of life force energy. So basically that's like the magic of chakras, right? And it's energy, and it's all about also balancing them to connect with our true selves by healing, right? And sometimes we just ask ourselves, like, what are the main ways of healing the chakras? And there's basically 2 ways. One is directly balancing the excess and deficiency of each of the chakras. And the other one is actually thinking in all of the chakras, on the principal chakras, and it's balancing the even distribution of the energy in the alignment of the 7 chakras. So like the first one is just defining if we have any excess or deficiency in each chakra, and the other one is just thinking about full battery that we have in our 7 principal chakras. Like this 100%, we can just divide this 100% in 7, and it would be a little bit more of 14% in each chakra. So if one chakra is at 30% working, well, probably there's another one that is working at 5%. So there's the way of finding the balance, right? And just getting to this 14 or more or less percent. So yeah, that's a little bit of like general chakras, and we're today talking about our sacral chakra, right? And this is the orange chakra that is located in the if we put our hands in our lower abdomen, like underneath our navel, there we can put our hand, and we actually can do this exercise, this 10-second exercise, putting our hand and just closing gently our eyes and start breathing, just breathing in consciously, deep and slow, and then imagining this orange light in our lower abdomen. Oh, and there is our sacral chakra, realizing this energy, this aura energy. And there it is. So with this little exercise, very, very quick, we can connect with that orange energy with our sacral chakra. As we can realize, there's a lot of water in ourselves, in our physical body is very related to this element that is associated to this chakra, that is water. And this chakra, its aspects it's all about desire, pleasure, sexuality, creation. It's our energetic point of creation. It's all about being conscious of how we feel, how we connect with emotions, being able to let them flow, right? Like flowing like water. And it's all about moving freely, like being able to just expand ourselves and without tension. Like sometimes we just feel so rigid, and well, actually it's like water. When it freezes, it's rigid, right? So as we don't want freeze water, we want it to flow. Well, we have to avoid that tension, right? It's also about connecting to our sexuality and to pleasure. Yeah, recognizing the pleasure within us and how we connect that energy, that sexual energy, that pleasure energy with our desires, and it's not only about like sexual parts, organs, but also with desires, like feeling pleasure when we eat something, when we do something, when we share with our kids. It can be related with different types of pleasure. So when can we find these blockages, right? Like we ask, okay, how do I know if I have a blockage in my chakra, in my sacral chakra? Well, if you have trouble knowing what you feel, like you're very confused and you don't know, well, you probably have a little blockage or a big one. We can see, depending on how many feelings are there that are not expressing. And also another blockage can be if your body doesn't move freely. Yes. So and in pleasure, like if you don't enjoy life, you feel a lot of rigidness, and you just don't flow, right? So probably there's a little blockage. And also, if you find sexuality challenging for you, definitely there's a blockage. So yeah, that's a little bit about our sacral chakra, and I'm going back to Janis.
Thank you. So yeah, what we're going to go into next, thank you and that's a pretty succinct description of the sacral chakra. It's probably like the place I like to play the most, because most people will say my inner child is alive and well. But we want to talk about some of the things that could be working with that energy, simple modalities and things like that. May, can you talk a little bit about the organs and some other parts of the body that shows up for that? And then I'll go into some other modalities. Yeah.
So as Laura Sofia was talking about, this is all about the pleasure organs. So, obviously we're talking about our ovaries and our uterus for women, and just everything that's going to make us feel pleasure, which is absolutely amazing, because we want to be able to harness that and be able to really feel the joy in that. And I feel a lot of times that like some of the block comes when there's a judgment in that joy. So yeah, and for obviously the guys are talking about the testicles, prostate, and where I don't know, I don't think the prostate brings them joy, but
well, okay, that's a whole other conversation we can have. Right deep dive on that. I have a resource if you guys need it.
Exactly, we won't go down that road. But we're talking also about assimilation of food and physical force and vitality and sensuality as well. So those are the things that, if you're not feeling those things, then there's probably a blockage in your sacral chakra, right?
Yep. Well, and it's funny
Yeah.
that you mentioned that, because, okay, so I do the astrology part, and
Mhm.
just a brief like recap why astrology can play a part in this is planets exude energy, stars exude energy, asteroids, things like that. And so when you were born, certain energy was imprinted into your personality and into your life path. But also, as the planets move around all of us, they may be imparting certain energy to us and may be impacting us. And so that's why I go into the astrology part. And the sacral chakra is over in our little wheel. When you get a natal chart, that mapping of what everything was the day and then the moment you were born. Fifth house is over children, creativity, childhood play, expansiveness, all of those things. And then we also have the eighth house, which is the taboo, a little bit of the deeper into the occult, but also sexuality. And it was funny because I was just reading a person's chart 2 weeks ago, and they had a lot going on in that eighth house. And I'm like, you like to talk about the things people don't like to talk about. And she's like, I'm very frank when it comes to sexuality, especially even with my kids. And I'm like, see, that's that openness to that eighth house energy. And so like seeing what's going on in the fifth house for your chart, or the eighth house, or where you have certain planets, like Jupiter is expansive and it's creative, but the moon is your emotions and your heart and your psyche and things like that. So where are those placed, and where are they having the biggest impact? And also what sign they fall into. So how you express that creativity and how you express your emotions and the energy in which that flows for you. So those are, and then a little bit of Scorpio, yes, because of the sexuality too. We'll look into that, and Pluto. But just getting an idea, not only in your chart of where it's at, but as a collective, there's things that are coming in and out of our lives right now that impact those parts of your life as well. So that's part of the astrology that could be impacting your sacral chakra and opening that up. The other modality I'm going to share is essential oils, and I'm going to take it this week. Thanks, Meg. We can go back and forth on this one all day. We could geek out all day. We could do a totally different class on that. But with this, the sacral chakra is aligned with more of your citrus. So like your oranges and your lemons, or we have a blend called Citrus Fresh, which takes a lot of different citruses.
Oh,
and
you can see that.
Yep. And blend them together.
On our camera.
Yep. And then also one of my favorites, Inner Child. It has bitter orange in it. You put it on, yeah, and you take that in. And that one I actually do internally. Maybe that's why my inner child's so active. But sometimes too, we need to, like patchouli is another one that's great for emotions and women, and ylang ylang for women's sexuality and flow, as Lara Sofia said, in all of those energies. And patchouli is great for that as well. And then the other part is you can blend those things in together to find things that maybe you need to calm down to rise up. Sometimes if we're so energetic, sometimes we need to bring it back into balance. Like Lara Sofia, maybe it's overactive and it's too scattered and it's too much. If you're being too much, you can now find that balance again. So it's not overriding any of your other systems. The only thing I'm going to note about essential oils before I go is make sure that when you do pick essential oils, especially if you're going to take them internally, be conscious of sourcing and the standard in which they were created. Because and the science behind it, you want to make sure, one, the constituents are active in the oil you actually are buying, but two, there's no other pesticides, chemicals, fillers, or other carrier oils that necessarily are watering down the effect of your oil. So just want to, because since as I mentioned, taking it internally, you want to make sure that you're conscious of that, Fran. But that's it. So,
All right.
Laura Sofia, can you tell us about crystals and the sacral?
Yes, my favorite. Thank you, Janis. Yeah, it's amazing how all of this information we are sharing is so different, but at the same time so integrated, right? And how people can just connect with astrology, with essential oils, with the organs, with what is a chakra, and with crystals, and everything we're sharing. And that's the idea, right? To just invite people to just connect with the tools that they just feel more near to, right? So yeah, let's talk about crystals. I love it. I love talking about crystals. Let's remember that before the sun or the moon, before life on earth, and every long before the earth itself, exister minerals. Yeah, the minerals are this. If we go to chemistry class in school, are these inorganic chemical compounds, right? We actually are not having here a chemistry class, but it is important to talk about minerals because actually crystals are minerals. So what are crystals, right? Well, a crystal, it's a mineral, and it has a regular geometric structure, right? We can, if we see different crystals, we probably think that they are not geometric in their form, but they're actually their structure, like how they're made inside what we see. It is a geometric structure, and it is regular, so it is amazing. Well, crystals were formed at the same time planet Earth was formed, so the information that they have is absolutely amazing. They are actually, and crystals can be seen as Earth's DNA. You know, like as we have our own DNA, well, Earth's DNA are crystals because they really have this chemical print left by evolution. It's like having a lot of information in these little powerful creatures. It is actually a crystalline structure, and it's all about absorbing and conserving and focusing and emitting energy, right? So that's why they are so powerful, because they are actually our energy allies, as I call them, right? And we can choose to work with them and with their powers. And each of the crystals, as we have talked, have different powers and different colors, and we can just connect with them, looking at them, feeling them. They are amazing. How energy just express in themselves, right? They have different powers, and that's why we here talk depending on the chakra we're talking about. We are I'm bringing 3 different crystals for who is watching. Just connect with those crystals, right? So we're now going to talk about 3 different crystals that are related to our orange sacral chakra. Okay, so the first one is carnelian. This is a beautiful carnelian. I'm showing it here. I love carnelian. Its power is all about creativity, courage, confidence. It's amazing. As a curious fact, the name carnelian, it's actually an alteration of cornelian with an O, and it's all about the roots in the cornel. The cornel cherry tree. So it's all about the integration of the name, and that's why this is a beautiful carnelian. So what are the basic uses we can just relate to this beautiful stone and crystal is as a personal usage. We can carry carnelian if we need a confidence boost. Well, we can keep carnelian with us. That's a personal use. If we want to find a home use, we can put it in our bedroom, and this will encourage romance and rekindle passion. And it's amazing. It's a very soft stone, and it works with heightening this romance and this space of a safe space, right, in our home. And if we want to talk about a usage in our work, we can talk about it actually, carnelia helps to alleviate indecision. So if you are like taking any important decision, well, it's amazing to be having a carnelian. And it also increases productivity because it avoids procrastination. So when we feel that we're not just flowing, well, we can use our beautiful carnelian. So that's about our carnelian. Another crystal that is related with our sacral chakra is pyrite. This is amazing. It glows. Yeah, it's a beautiful crystal. It's all about empowerment and protection and willpower. And as a curious fact, it's actually, you know, it's called and it's related and it's known as fool's gold because it actually brights because it has a metallic sheen. So yeah, so it's amazing. So how can we? Oh, and as another curious fact, one time I was with my dad buying some crystals, and he said like, "Oh, my favorite is a pyrite," and I was like, "Oh, Dad, do you know what's the name of crystals?" So that was amazing for me because it's a long time ago that he knows about this crystal. So as a personal usage, you can hold a piece of a pyrite, and helping the, you know, when you're meditating, it helps ending the meditation to help ground ourselves, our energy in our body. That's very important. Sometimes we meditate and we just stay over there, and having a pyrite just empowers us to come back to our physical body. In terms of home usage, we can use it as a center energy if we are living in a chaotic household. Sometimes where there's a lot of tension. Well, this is a crystal that absorbs a lot of that tension energy. And talking about work, well, pyrite energizes the workplace, our workplace, and stimulates creation. You know, like if we need new ideas or solutions, well, having a pyrite would be a big option. And our third stone that crystal we're going to talk about, it's tiger's eye. We have this in this beautiful energetic bracelet. Here it is. This is the tiger's eye. This tiger eye is all about balance and prosperity and protection. And as a curious fact, Roman soldiers, like a long time ago, engraved tiger's eye to protect them when they had any battle, or they really use it as a protective stone. So just thinking about Roman soldiers with their, you know, like their bravery and everything, and knowing that they had this little stone like between their little clothes, well, it's funny, right? Because they really felt connected with the protective energy that this stone just shares. So for a personal usage, we can talk about having it in our pocket will help us alleviate those mood swings when we are just feeling like, whoa. And having it in the pocket will just help us to ground ourselves and just come back. In our home, we can create a lot of balance with tiger's eye and a centered household, and particularly during transitions, when we're moving one home from another home, tiger's eye is amazing. And okay, in terms of work, it also attracts new businesses. So if we want new opportunities, well, we can be working with our tiger's eye. And also it helps a lot with dealing with finances. So it's a very powerful crystal, and we can have it there for abundance and connecting with our finances. So yeah, back to Meg, that is going to share us a little bit more about meditation.
Awesome. So we're closing out, or Janis, or are we going back to you after?
You'll come back to me. So
okay.
if you want to do your part. Yep.
So we're just going to kind of go over just a little bit of breath work. Breath work has a lot of different breathing tools that we can use to help to unblock the chakras and just kind of center ourselves and help that 100% battery just kind of fill up the way it's supposed to. So the last time that we had spoken, we had done a 4-7-8 breath, it's called. So basically you breathe in for 4, you hold for 7, you breathe out for 8, and you do that just a couple of times, which really helps to ground you and ground you into that chakral space. So what I would do is, if you're seated in a chair, just kind of ground your feet onto the floor, or if you're sitting on the floor, just kind of ground your root into the floor, just so that you can be well connected. And just take a moment and just kind of breathe out. Just breathe everything out. Just let it all go. Now you're going to begin with an I feel kind of thought, and you can fill in the I feel. I feel divinely guided. I feel supported. And as you're thinking about, you're going to breathe in for 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe out for 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One more time. Breathe in for 4, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe out for 8, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so that is a really good breath that you can do to help yourself. Gosh, I still can't do that. To ground yourself and just kind of help bring your awareness into your body. It helps to de-stress. It helps relieve anxiety. Last week when I was sitting at urgent care for several hours, I kept doing that breath. And it totally helped in relieving some of the, oh crap, what's going on feeling that I was feeling at that time. So, and just real quick, one of the things that I didn't talk about really fast was food. So any of your orange types of food, whether it be fruits or vegetables, root vegetables, so sweet potatoes, butternut squash or any form of squash, pumpkin, that type of family, your oranges, lemons.
So can I ask, is that why there's like a pumpkin spice like craze? Is like we just have this sensual like connection to pumpkin?
That cinnamon kind of bringing us all down as we begin to shut down in the fall, right? Everything's coming inward, so that all goes into there, and that pleasure that we feel from sipping something warm. But one of the things that I love in the wintertime is butternut squash soup.
That's another one.
So it's one of my favorites. I will put up a recipe for it. I have it. Also, the last recipe from a couple weeks ago, I do still have it. I was having technical difficulties, and that's easy for me.
I'll help. Oh, thank you. All right. And if anybody heard any background noise during that meditation, okay, good. I apologize. So I will be just in full disclosure to all the moms listening. My little girl, her school shut down for COVID. So we're homeschooling. And of course, her class starts right in the middle of this session. So while you were meditating, I was doing mommy mode, and I will come back and listen to that meditation as soon as we're done to recenter.
We need that.
I will. Good. So, well, I think I think that's all we wanted to share. Again, this is just about a curiosity. I want to remind everybody, all the things we talked about, whether it's the planets, the crystals, the foods, the oils, the plants, whatever, it all comes from the same energetic source. It all came from the same place. And it's tapping into these modalities is what allows us to tap into source, love, God, peace, love, whatever whatever you call it, but it all came from the same place. And all we're doing is working with that energy and aligning our body, which was created the same way, into those energies. And so, to me, this is a daily practice to just kind of keep that alignment going through our busy lives. We are humans, but we're spiritual beings. And we're here having that human experience. So we're just using different modalities to remind ourselves and realign ourselves. And so with that, we do have, like Laura Sofia, if you want to know more about crystals, or that beautiful, for those of you who are on the Zoom, you got to see a sneak peek. She does energetic jewelry, and her jewelry is beautiful. She can custom create a piece for you, but she also does assessments. If you just want to get a basic assessment of where your chakras are at, just either back channel her if you're on Clubhouse, or message her if you're finding this on our online social media. Whether that's YouTube, you can just reach her through Laura Sofia Castro Alvarez, find her on Facebook that way. We have a Facebook group called We Rise, We Roar, because again, we're rising up the frequencies, rising up the energy, rising up in this awakening, so that we can shine and we can share and we can roar and come out with our stories. Meg does breath work. She can help you with your meditations and doing deep breathing, and different techniques to work through the energies if you're having blockages. She also does essential oils in that practice, or separately. And then I can do a couple of astrology things, whether it's figuring out your divine path, or whether you have some blockages, or claiming your abundance and what your purpose is. I can do those too, as well as I do essential oils for all of this and finding your intuition and stuff. So you can reach us on Facebook, or you can reach us on YouTube, or right here on Clubhouse where we are today. Just back channel us. And then next week, we're going to do the next chakra, right?
Yep.
Yep.
The power of the sun, our inner sun.
Yes. Now, I don't know if I know that we had quite a few people actually watch our replay, so they may be joining us afterwards. So look for those messages, ladies, coming through on the back channel from with Clubhouse. So keep mindful of that people are watching throughout the week. And then otherwise, I think for this week, we're complete, right?
We are complete.
Yeah, let's enjoy this orange week, and let's connect ourselves, how we leave our chakra, or crystals, or essential oils, or our food. Let's give us the opportunity to just connect with the orange in our life.
and how we feel. And
yes,
what we create.
For sure.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
I feel.
Okay. Bye.
Okay. It's amazing always sharing with you, ladies.
Bye, beautiful.
Take care.